Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. I forgot to unmute myself, but I'm ready to rock now. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. We are here on a Thursday edition of Inside Edge Primetime, and a very exciting one because the Guardians, yes, they're back in action. We're obviously Cleveland's digital leader here for everything, your source of sports, entertainment, mental health, and obviously with baseball back in swing, we are excited for the Guardians. They take on the Seattle Mariners in Seattle tonight. 10:10 is the first pitch, so we'll keep an eye on that. 10:10. I know, I was so ready. But we are ready and rocking and rolling. Again, Chad Bryan to my right, your left, taking a nice drink of some coffee or, maybe some W Energy. We'll see. But Chad, how you feeling, man?
I am feeling thunderous. We've got some amazing thunder and lightning going on right now at my place. So if I leave the show suddenly, it's not because I quit the Inside Edge Network. It's because my power quit me. So just know that that's what happened. So I may be here the whole hour. I may not be. So enjoy me while you've got me, which is, what I would say to you. I'm excited. Baseball's back, man. We've got some scores. I see box scores. I see Paul Skeens not getting out of the first inning. Guy finally gets some run support today against the Mets, Eli, and he suddenly stinks. It is like, I don't know how to pitch with runs. What do you want me to do? Sounds like pitching with something completely different, by the way, which would be tough if you had to get into the clubhouse and go to the bathroom. Anyway, Skeen's out of the first inning, didn't even make it out. But baseball's back. Doesn't matter. We're going to talk about the Guardians. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mariners. We got to talk about them. We're going to talk about this matchup, right? We're going to get into, opening day stuff. You don't want to like overly break down the matchup 162 times a year. But Eli, on opening day, man, it's a lot of fun. How are you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great, man. Thank you for asking. And you know what? Honestly, it's been a very interesting opening day. You mentioned Paul Skeens. I texted you that earlier. I was like, man, what are the odds that the Pirates give Paul Skeens 2 runs in the first inning and then he gives up 5 and is out in the first? I want to have a deeper discussion next week. Let's remember this and let's bookmark this. But yes. I want to have a conversation about the World Baseball Classic and how teams might start getting a little more strict going into the next World Baseball Classics more and more, because Logan Webb gets rocked yesterday by the New York Yankees. He pitched in the World Baseball Classic quite a bit. Paul Skeens had multiple starts in the World Baseball Classic. He gets rocked today in the first inning. So very early, rockings for 2 aces for these clubs. Yeah. So I'm curious to see what that means. But obviously, that's a discussion for a few years from now. Right now, opening day is in full swing. Some scores around the league. I know we want to get into the Guardians. We will in a second, but I want to get around some scores around the league here, Chad.
Yeah.
Just some quick ones. And we're not going to go over every single game, but the Angels getting off to a hot start, beating the Astros 3-0 today. You have the Phillies winning 5-3 over the Texas Rangers, I believe. Over the Texas Rangers, 5-3 over the Phillies over the Rangers. We'll go to the AL Central. Detroit Tigers 8-2 over the San Diego Padres. So obviously not good if you're a Guardians fan. You don't want to see Detroit winning, but whatever. It's early. Boston winning over the Reds 3-0. The Twins falling 2-1 to the Orioles, and then of course we went over the Pirates losing to the Mets 11-7. So some scores around the league and some teams we'll keep an eye on. But one thing I will say about the Pirates, real quick, before we dive into the Guardians, it doesn't appear offense might be their problem this year. It seems like they're at least going to give some runs, because last year that was the big thing, is they weren't really providing any runs. Now, granted, it's one game. I understand it's 161 more to go, but it's a good start. It's a good start. And you look for trends. Baseball is a trendy type of sport. You're not going to look for – nobody's going to hit a ball every game for 162 games. But you are looking for a 4 to 5 good game stretch and things like this. And if the Pirates offense can compete like this, I don't think Paul Skeens is going to have many outings like that and they may
Probably
win some
not.
more. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I don't think Skeens is going to finish the year with a 67.50 ERA. Real quick in the comments, Kembo said the Cardinals were impressive today. He's shocked by that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Cardinals put up some runs. I did see that. Pitching staff gave up 17 hits, but that's okay. When you score 9 runs, you can outlast that. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just a lot going on. It's just fun to see baseball scores again. It's fun to look at the box scores and man, some guys pitched really well. Mizrowski pitched really well for the Brewers today against the White Sox. The Brewers beat the White Sox 14-2. I don't know if you said that or not.
Hope you got that one though. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking at National League East. So the Tigers won 8-2. We saw that. Beat the Padres. So yeah, I don't know. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of baseball going on. I'm excited, Eli. This is the best time of the year, man. This is like, man, Christmas and opening day. It's a toss up for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is exciting.
It's very exciting. You know what? And me and Papa Moon were actually talking yesterday. Or Papa Moon and we were talking, and it was so awesome just to talk with my dad about baseball. My dad raised me on baseball. Like, my dad was my baseball coach my entire life, pretty much. And he taught me the fundamentals of the game. He taught me about really just being an athlete. And it's cool to sit here. Like I said, I talked to him, and we're gonna watch the Guardians. We're gonna obviously be going back and forth between that. And the Dodgers are playing the Diamondbacks currently right now on NBC or Peacock. And I want to kind of keep an eye on that. Obviously, they're the team that everybody's trying to beat, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I looked at the box score in the first inning of Shohei Ohtani already with a single in the right field. So first inning, single in the right field, just back like he never left. So just going to be an exciting day. And it's exciting that baseball's back, man. It's back. And I feel good about the Guardians. I know we've had a little bit of doom and gloom about them spending money, and I've been one of the ones to mention that. But I do feel that they're going to have a fun year. We get the Naylor brothers battle here between, Josh and Bo tonight, and
that sounds like a Super Mario thing, by the way. That sounds like from back in the day playing like the NES. Like,
yeah,
I got to get through the Naylor brothers. How do I get through this board? I don't know how to. Somebody do this for me.
The Naylor bros, man. And but I'll say this: good thing the game's not in Cleveland tonight, or we probably wouldn't have had a game.
Oh yeah, we'd be looking at probably a decent delay at least. I think some of this stuff's moving pretty fast, west to east. I don't know. Yeah, it depends on what time they would have started. I guess if they would have started about 7:05, it would have been delayed for a couple hours, most likely, while all this ran through. So, who knows? Might not have gotten this one in tonight. So it's a good thing, like you said, they're on the West Coast. By the way, real quick, opening day, 9 teams, Eli, right now, on a pace to do something no one's ever done. Go 162-0.
Wow.
Could it be the year that 9 teams? Hey, man.
I have a question for you. Right? I'm glad you brought something like that up. I'm so glad you brought that up. Because like I said, I was sitting here talking to Papa Moon yesterday. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you a question. And I don't know the semantics, so I may be wrong. But if a player has a hitting streak, mm-hmm. like say they get into this hitting streak, like game 142 of the 162. They hit all the way to the end of the year. Okay. And then they go and they end up getting enough games to pass the hitting streak. Does that technically count as the new hitting record?
Wait, hold on. I didn't understand the parameters.
You're good. Let me explain it again. Okay. So you know how the hitting streak boom was done in one season. Like boom, it was the same season. Now say somebody started getting hot at the end of the year, right? Like say like that last 15.
So they hit their last 20 games or whatever.
Right, 15, 20, and then the next year they continue it and break it. Does that count as
that
counts?
Yes, that's active.
I see Papa Moon he's not a very strong opinionated sports guy nowadays. He focuses on his mental health conversations, and he'll have one Saturday at 5 p.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. But he said he doesnn't think that's right, Chad.
I don't think that counts.
He doesn't think it's right. He doesn't disagree that you're right or wrong. He just
disagrees. Oh no, we're in a fight. We're in a fight now. Papa Moon and I are clearly in a fight.
Papa Moon are going to fight, absolutely, about the hitting streak semantics. I just think. I kind of agree with Papa Moon a little bit, though. He did bring up the point. It's like, well, you get a chance to rest, you get the whole off season, and then you can recharge and kind of have a break. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting enough, and very rarely does Papa Moon get up in arms about certain sports things. But he heard something about that yesterday and said, "I don't think that's right." So just wanted your take on that.
I believe that's still active. I mean, you got to think about the games played streaks, right? Like Cal Ripken's, his consecutive games played that obviously went, it spanned multiple seasons. So yeah, I think anything that like an average wouldn't go from one season to another, like in the NBA, like points per game, everything's an average in the NBA, right? So you wouldn't do that. But yeah, in the consecutive games streak, I mean, that's you've hit in consecutive games. I mean, if it's the last 20 and the next 40, you've got 60 consecutive hits where you've got a game, right? 60 consecutive games where you've got a hit. It's proof, right? It's
Sure is, pal. And I I
easy for me to
told
say.
I told Pops, I understand what he's saying, but I brought up exactly what you just said about Cal Ripken and the consecutive games and whatnot. I said, well, somebody can't control it. They got hot the last 20 games of the year, and then they happen to just carry it over into the next year. Why should they be punished for that? So I don't know. I think it's an interesting debate. And if you have a strong take about that, let us know in the comments here if you feel that it should or shouldn't count. We're going to be talking a lot of baseball here tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk a little March Madness in the second segment, so stay tuned for that Sweet 16 action going on right now. But we
Yeah.
really are here tonight early with you, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. because the
Yes.
Gardeners, oh my goodness, the Guardians and the Mariners take place at 10 o'clock tonight, 10 p.m. And if they were a team together, they would be the Gardeners. But tonight,
Yes, I'm
the
looking at all the
Gardeners.
matchups now. I'm looking at well, I don't know, the Nationubs. They played today. The Twin Eels, they got a game in earlier. So yeah, I'm looking at all the matchups. That could be a fun thing to do all year. Anyway, yeah, the Gardeners. Let's go. Let's do it. We're getting plenty of rain for it. It's fine. Plant your garden. Go do it. Go do it right now.
Let's talk about the game a little bit here, pal. And
We
let's talk
probably
about let's talk about the game a little bit, and let's talk about just this Guardians team. We talked a little bit yesterday about it, but kind of starting with the position players. It seems like the young guys are going to be where we kind of really count on here. Is that what it kind of seems like to you?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of make or break with some of the young guys too. I mean, I think the Guardians just have so many guys that right now are question marks, right? Some guys are on the roster right now, huge question marks. I don't think you know what you get out of Brian Rocchio. I don't know that you necessarily know what you're going to get out of Gabriel Arias. I don't know if you know what you're going to get out of Reese Hoskins. There's a couple of different schools of thought on Hoskins. A lot of people are really excited about his right-handed bat. About the power, the home run, the prospect of home runs there, 25, 30 home runs, whatever. He's a guy that's averaged about 30 home runs if he plays, enough games. But he's got to be healthy, right? He's coming off the lower body injury. You never know how that's going to affect the guy. A lot of people think he could be out of here by May. He could be released already, Eli. By just about a month into the season, he could be gone. So I don't know that you release your only real right-handed power bat. I think you kind of have to rock with him. You've made the choice now. I think for the money, I think you just give him a shot to at least get to the trade deadline and see what you've got.
Yeah.
After that, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, Daniel Schneemann. I'm looking at Chase DeLauder. You don't know. I mean, DeLauder is a guy physically. He's imposing, right? He's a big, strong guy. Hit the ball. He can hit the ball he can hit the ball out all over the park, right? Left, center, right. We've seen that. We just don't know if he's going to be healthy. He just seems to have a problem staying on the field. Stephen Kwan is changing positions. He's not necessarily a question mark at the plate. You know what you're going to get out of him from like April to June. He's going to hit. He seems to go the other way, though. It's like when the Guardians, when the rest of the offense heats up as the weather does, Kwan seems to cool down. He always seems to start off hitting like 415, 425, and you're like, hey, could we have another 400 hitter? And he'll have a stretch where, he's not so great. And all of a sudden you look and he's hitting 290. 290 is great in today's Major League, baseball, but it's obviously not, flirting with 400 the way that he usually typically does at the start of the season.
Yeah.
George Valera was starting to come on strong, and now he's going to start on the IL. So, listen, offensively, a ton of young guys. You got Travis Bazzano. We didn't even mention him in AAA. There's just so many question marks, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's hard to come into a season with that many questions, right? And you don't know what you're going to get out of certain guys, even guys who've been established on the roster. The catching, my goodness, the offense behind the plate, Eli, is not good.
It's not.
Defensively,
Defensively, it's sound, but Austin Hedge has never been known as an offensive juggernaut.
No.
And that's the worry. And it's kind of what I stressed yesterday is like, man, they got to spend money. And if they're not going to spend the money, hopefully if this team's, 20, 30 games above 500, maybe that's a little overzealous, but 20 games above 500 would be awesome. But if they're at least in a good position where they're, above 500, they're competing, maybe they make a move for behind the plate or whatever, add some pop to this offense. We'll see what Reese Hoskins brings. I think another guy, and Papa Moon must have heard me, his ears must have been ringing. He said, Kyle Manzardo hits 30 home runs this year. That's something we need out of the big power bat here, out of the first baseman Manzardo. That's somebody that I have a lot of belief controls how the Guardian season's going to go.
Yeah.
If he underperforms, bats 215, and only gets about 18 home runs, Guardians probably aren't going very far. But if he can get 30 dingers, bats about 250, 260, along with Reese Hoskins, and you mentioned Chase DeLauder, some of these other guys come around, then yeah. But I think Manzardo is one of these cogs in the machine. We talk about Jared Allen with the Cavaliers. I believe Kyle Manzardo is one of those guys that's going to be super important to this Guardians offense this year.
Yeah. I agree, and I agree with Papa Moon for the record. I think as long as he plays enough, they're going to platoon him a little bit. I think I don't know. Maybe you get Reese Hoskins some at bats in another way, maybe at the DH or whatever, because I think Manzardo is going to be a guy that can hit you 30 home runs if he plays 140, 145 games at first base or DH or the combo or whatever. But I don't think you necessarily take him out of the lineup just because you're facing a lefty. I think Manzardo is a guy that, he can hit lefties a little bit. There are some exceptions. There are some guys that, you kind of, I'm not going to say you duck them with your left-handed hitters, but maybe if you got a lefty in the lineup, you get he gets a day of rest against certain pitchers, right? Certain lefties or whatever. But yeah, I think Manzardo's a guy who can hit lefties a little bit. Sometimes when you're the Guardians aren't a large market team. They don't have the depth that the Dodgers have. You can't just, you can't platoon and have 30, 35 home run guys out there, no matter what. You've got to you just got to go with your best guys sometime, I guess is my point. At certain points, the platoon system, it breaks down a little bit for smaller market teams, for the teams that don't have enough depth, right? We talked about just how, the offense behind the plate right now, David Fry, Austin Hedges, and Bo Naylor, I don't know. You've got three guys that could legitimately hit under 200 for the season if they don't get going the right way. And that's, you want your catcher first and foremost. You want them to be great defensively. You want them to receive the pitching staff, and you want all your pitchers to be comfortable with those guys. But yeah, you wouldn't mind getting a little bit of offense. It is the American League. You want some guys that maybe 240, 20 home runs. One guy. Can we get a combination maybe?
And that's what you wonder out of Bo Naylor. Bo Naylor is one of those guys, a top prospect, for the Guardians coming up at one point. And somebody you wonder, it's like, did they let go of the wrong Naylor? Josh Naylor is going to play in Seattle tonight. He just signed an extension. And that's a team, too. Just talk about them for a moment here, because they are playing, obviously, at 10-10. Now, the Mariners were in the AL, championship series, the ALCS. So
very nearly went to the World Series. It crumbled a little bit for them at the end. But, yeah, they very nearly were. They were almost a World Series team.
Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez. I've had a long day, Chad. But
It's been a day. It's been a whole week today. So.
But I'll tell you this: this Mariners team is very, very good.
Do
you think that they can replicate some of last year's success? Obviously, you want to be ideal if you're a Guardians fan, but do you think they can replicate last year's success and be another threat to the AL crown this year to Toronto? And the Yankees are trying to get there.
Yeah, I do. I think Seattle's going to be very good. I think they're, probably the class of the AL West. I thought the Rangers may do something last year if they were healthy enough. I thought at times, I said it in one of my preseason show. I said, look for the Rangers to be a dark horse, and they started off really well, but health got to them. They weren't healthy at the end of the season the way the Mariners were. And by the way, I don't expect Cal Raleigh to hit 60 home runs again this year. Baseball is a sport where guys regress to the mean, right? Meaning that 60 home runs is not the mean. It's not the average. It's not the norm, right? You tend to regress in baseball. When guys have a really, really good year out of nowhere, it doesn't mean they're not good players. First of all, everybody's going to have your number, right? Everybody's looking at Cal Raleigh in the lineup. You're going to pitch him a little bit more carefully. Not that, you weren't doing that as he was getting close to 60 home runs, but now teams have had a whole offseason to study him. And don't forget, he's still catching. That's a very high demand position. Catching is, people say sometimes I think shortstop is the toughest. I think catching is the toughest position in baseball. Think about having all the gear out there on. It's 95 degrees in the summer, right? Sun's down. You got to deal with all these hot-headed pitchers. Who can even stand pitchers? Thank God I wasn't a pitcher when I played. Oof. But you've got a lot. There's a lot of responsibility. You got to deal with the umpire. You got to make that relationship happen. And I think in the major leagues that's a little bit easier. You guys know each other. You get the same umpiring crews. These guys all know each other. They don't have to necessarily build the rapport from the beginning of the game and whatever. But still, there's a lot that you have to deal with. And I don't expect Cal Raleigh to really even come anywhere near 60. Maybe he does. Maybe he hits 58 this year, but I would expect him to be more, high 40s, low 50s. I don't expect him to approach 60 home runs again this year, but I think the Mariners are going to be very, very good. I think the starting pitcher tonight, Logan Gilbert, I think he's going to be very good. He was coming off, he had some weird injury stuff last year. Nothing major, forearm strains, just flexor stuff like that. that kind of kept him out of, just being able to pitch down the stretch. And in the playoffs a little bit, he was limited, but he's a really, really good pitcher. He's a fastball slider guy. He's a Guardians guy, right? The Guardians love these fastball slider guys. And he sometimes when he's on, he reminds me of like a Corey Kluber in his prime. He just pounds the zone up with a mid 90s fastball, that hard slider away. It's it bites it. It's got some really good movement. He really doesn't throw much else in the way of any of his off speed stuff. It's very, very seldom used, really, to be honest with you. He's just a fastball slider guy. But that's good enough, right? You have two really good plus pitches in the major leagues. You can get guys out. And just the way they're, like you said, Julio Rodriguez, just the way their team is built in general, I think Seattle is, I think they're a problem again. I think they're very good. I think they could be a World Series contender again. Yeah.
Interesting. And we're going to talk about the Guardians later on. We're going to talk about their competition a little bit more, the AL, the American League, the NL, the National League, and talk about how they stack up against these other contenders. I do want to ask you this before we go to break, though. We're going to take a quick pause in a moment. This Guardians pitching staff is good, and we've never had to worry about the Guardians pitching staff being good if they're healthy. Yeah. But I told you that before we got on air. This doesn't remind me of the Kluber, Bauer, Tomlin era or any of those type of stretches where Andrew Miller's coming out of the bullpen. I mean, they got Kate Smith, who's very good. I mean, I'm not doubting the bullpen, but it doesn't feel like it's that strength. Do you think that this Guardians pitching staff can carry them to a deep playoff run like they did back in 2016, like 10 years ago? Do you think it could be something like that, or is offense going to have to put up 3, 4, 5 runs a game to really compete?
It's so hard to say. I mean, they're going to have to be healthy. First of all, there's not a lot of depth. The guys that are there on the roster, this starting five, Bybee, Williams, Slade Ciccone. It's been a whole day. Having a day.
It's all good, brother.
Joey Cantillo, Parker Messick. Parker Messick's a good young arm, by the way. He used to really took Logan Allen's spot. Logan Allen had that tough start, in spring training that we talked about. All the 12 hits, 14 hits, 12 runs. Not a great start. Not a good last impression, but he's going to come back up at some point. He's not going to be down in AAA forever. So you're going to have some, like, a couple odd guys out. Maybe Cantillo goes down. Maybe Messick goes down when Logan Allen comes back up. Inevitably, like I said, he's coming back up. But I just, there's not a ton of depth. This isn't the Dodgers. They don't have, 15 or 16 starting pitchers that are major league ready. Like, the Dodgers just seem to have stacked starting pitchers. I mean, they have starting pitchers for days. The Guardians aren't in that situation. The bullpen's the same way. There are some strong arms. You've got Cade Smith. Hunter Gaddis is going to start the season on the injured list. That's unfortunate because you'd like to have, Gaddis and Smith there for the 8th and 9th inning, and then the rest of the bullpen kind of fills in behind. Because the realistic expectation is not for Tanner Bybee to go 8 innings tonight, right? Probably 5, is good. Maybe you get 6 out of him if he keeps the pitch count down. But it's March. It's not even April yet, right? And you've got guys coming off, like you said, the World Baseball Classic, where I told you, a couple of weeks ago, you're concerned about guys and the way that starting pitchers like to get ready for the season, the way they like to ramp up, and it happened a little bit faster for some of these guys. And look at the guys who got hit hard today. So nothing to do with the Guardians because, not the same situation, but it's just easing into the season, and you hope that everybody's ready. You hope that everybody's arm and everybody's body is ready to go because there's just not a ton of depth there, whether it's on the starting rotation, whether it's in the bullpen. That does concern you a little bit as you look at this Guardians team. Not a ton of guys down there in AAA. They're just really ready to go. They're ready to be called up and make the most of that opportunity. So, yeah, you've got to be healthy, but it's going to take a mix. It's not going to be one side or the other carrying this team. They're going to have to get it from both.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. And we'll talk. We have a whole season to talk more about this Guardians pitching staff. Another name I want to mention. You mentioned Gaddis. You mentioned Cade Smith. 2 guys that are going to be very important this season. And when Gaddis returns, I got to keep an eye on right now is Tim Herron, lefty. Tim Herron's, I think, going to have a very good year. And he's going to be a guy that I think the Guardians are going to rely a lot on in that bullpen. So I'm excited to see what that bullpen looks like, if we can have some fun. I mean, we're gonna have to make a game out this year, man. We're gonna have to get the whole Inside Edge network to the game. We're gonna have to get out there, Papa Moon, Double A, get us all out there. Everybody, bring the whole network out and rock out because we're gonna have a lot of baseball to celebrate this year. I'm excited, pal. And hey, happy opening day because yesterday was opening night. This is opening day, so happy opening day, pal.
As you sit around your baseball tree with your family and you open the gifts under there, just remember the reason for the season. It's fastballs and sliders, right? That's it.
You're dang right. You're dang right. And you know what? While you're sitting around the television, you're watching Guardians and Mariners. Hopefully, you're smelling a very nice candle from AlleyRoseFragrances.com and using the code InsideEdge20 to get that candle or body mist or all that great stuff from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Inside Edge 20 is your code for first-time customers to get 20% off your order. They have Lemon Bar, Soft Bloom. The spring edition is out. You can get your favorites, as Double A mentioned yesterday at Midnight Run. You can still get your Christmas tree. You can get the spiced apple, as Chad has there in the Bryan household. But these are cruelty-free. These are very, very great candles, great body mist. They smell great. Now, we haven't tested out the body mist, me and Chad specifically, but we do know some loved ones that we're going to try get some gifts for the body mists. And the candles are great. The candles are great. And we absolutely love working with Alley Rose and AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Again, cruelty-free. Just a lot of great stuff here, Chad. I mean, you want to say some more about our friend Alley Rose?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Cruelty-free ingredients, vegan ingredients go. They're all everything's handmade right here in the U.S. in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a very small business, so we love to support local small businesses, right? We love that, and the product is amazing. The shipping turnaround time, I've talked about it. We ordered our candles on a Friday. We had them by Tuesday afternoon. Just amazing for someone who I assume this is not the only thing that she's doing. I imagine she has a life and a job outside of this, and she's doing all kinds of things. But yeah, to get that shipping turnaround that quickly, I was really impressed. It's the little stuff sometimes, right? You order from the big box stores, and sometimes it takes 8-10 business days, whatever, to get there, and you're like, what happened? Like, aren't you a giant? But maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Maybe it's better to buy from a smaller business. So yeah, please visit AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Use the code InsideEdge20, capital I, capital E, get 20% off your first order. Again, candles, your house is going to smell amazing. Body mist, you, loved one, whoever you got, if you gift it to someone, they're going to smell amazing. I have an anniversary coming up. It might be, don't tell my wife. Why, turn away if you're listening. Plug your ears. La, 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 la. Yeah, maybe I'll get her a couple candles and some body mist. We'll see.
Awesome. Hey, we'll have to stay tuned. But you know what? AlleyRoseFragrances.com is going to keep us covered. InsideEdge20 is your code. Go ahead and get a great candle, great body mist. You're Chad and I, all right? We are excited. We had a great opening segment there. I would say so, because, I mean, whenever you get to talk about baseball, it's a great opening segment. So
you can probably see my excitement. Like, I love talking about football. I love sports. But, man, baseball, I feel like I'm tipping my chair over. I feel like I'm going to, fall out of my chair right now.
I am so excited, man. I am ready for baseball. I am ready for it, and it's here. It's been here all day. We're gonna take a quick pause. We're gonna talk basketball for just a moment because March Madness Sweet 16 is going on, and then when we come back after,
we're gonna sing baseball carols. No.
Yes. Well.
Maybe
we'll talk about the Guardians, and we'll see if they are singing a carol at the end of the year, and it's called the World Series Championship Carol. So we'll see if that's going on. Of course, that's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Thanks for tuning in here on a 9 to 10 p.m. edition of Primetime. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. And we just talked a whole lot of Guardians. They take the field in Seattle against the Mariners at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. We're getting you squared away as it's MLB opening day officially. MLB opening night last night. Yankees took care of the San Francisco Giants 7-0 in Tony Vitiello's managerial debut, the Giants debut. And yeah, it was a bad day for Logan Webb, bad day for Paul Skeens today. 2 World Baseball Classic heroes for the American team. Though they didn't win it, they were still had a very fun run, and those were 2 guys that were very important. So we talked about that, talked about the Guardians. We'll talk about them later and see what their World Series chances are, and maybe we might even predict our World Series prediction just early on and may throw one out at the wall here. Okay, we might just throw one.
Let's start.
All right. Hey, you know what? Absolutely. Hey, you know what? It worked out. You were joking about being a pitcher earlier. You know what's funny? I was a catcher my whole baseball career. So look at that, pal. Look at this. Look at this.
Gates, man. There you go.
Look at this, man. All right. So before we get into more baseball, though, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little March Madness, okay? Because it's going on right now. Sweet 16 is taking place, and the Big Ten is taking care of business, Chad. They are taking care of business. I don't know if you saw, because we've been on air, but if you got a chance to see, Iowa just got the win against Nebraska. Purdue got the win in a buzzer beater, not exact buzzer, but 0.7 of a second left against Texas. So Purdue, number 2 seed, hangs on against the number 11 seed Texas. They're advancing to the Elite Eight. Iowa going against Nebraska. They're going to the Elite Eight. 2 of the 8 teams, which are the only 2 in right now, are Big Ten. So at least a fourth, 25% of the Elite Eight is going to be Big Ten. You have some other Big Ten teams that are taking place. I believe later tonight, Illinois plays, I think, right in like a few minutes. And then obviously we got Michigan State, Michigan. We have these squads that are taking place. Chad, how exciting has this tournament been for you?
Super exciting until baseball started. And then I listen, it's not even about baseball. It's I looked at my bracket after the first round and I was like, like, yeah, maybe did a child fill this out for me? I don't know what happened. So the bracket's not doing well. I'll be honest with you. I lost a little bit of interest. A lot of the teams that I wanted to see move on have not moved on. Although my pick to win it all is still alive, right? The Arizona Wildcats are still there. So, and again, my whatever. I've got family that live. My aunt lives in Tucson. She's a big Wildcats fan. So I hope that they do. I hope that they do win it all because at least I guess I can recoup some points there if my team that I picked to win it all wins it all. But yeah, no, I haven't really watched today. It's baseball wall to wall for me today, man. I can't even watch really any of it. But I'm trying to stay. I'm watching like the MLB, the at bat thing. Just watching little like a cartoon of balls flying in, and I'm like, oh, I'm watching the game. But no, baseball, it doesn't matter because baseball's back. I'm excited about that. So, yeah, I haven't watched much today, unfortunately. Nothing beats that. Honestly, the Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, for me, everything else is kind of a letdown afterwards, right? Like, unless you have your team, like if Ohio State was still in it, I'd be watching the Buckeyes. But, yeah, it's hard. That those first 2 days are so much fun. And then everything else is kind of a letdown. The next weekend's okay. Like Saturday, Sunday, that's okay. But then, it's not the field of 64 anymore. It's kind of a letdown after that. You get, fewer and further between as far as the games go. So, whatever. Like I said, my bracket's cooked. I lost interest. I didn't mean to.
That's what I was going to say. I think that coupled with baseball, the bracket thing, I think is really what got you. I understand what you're saying about it. The excitement is there in the first 2 rounds, but I think it's the bracket thing, pal. It's okay, though.
And there's still plenty of exciting things. I don't mean to the Pen's still alive. Nebraska, their first Sweet 16, the first win in program history in the tournament. A lot of exciting stuff. It just doesn't necessarily reach. I don't know. I guess it doesn't give me the dopamine hit I want from it. I don't know.
I get it. You're a baseball guy. And look, anybody out there, this is a PSA, a public service announcement for anybody out there right now listening to Primetime and rocking with us here. And has been rocking with us for the last, we started Primetime basically in January, right when the Cleveland Browns are finding a new head coach. We started up as Thursday Topics. So thank you for anybody that's been with us since Thursday Topics. Thank you for rocking with us. And anybody that's joined along the way. Yes, thank you so much. And if you're here new, you're with us, and your first time, make sure you follow Inside Edge and stay locked in. But I will make this public service announcement. From right now till about end of October, beginning of November, Chad will find a way to get baseball in. Even if there's nothing going on in baseball, we will find a way to get baseball in. And I'm not going to argue it because I love baseball too. So I just wanted to be known that anything I bring, I could be like, hey, Chad, did you see that the Super Bowl was going? And now obviously that would never happen. But Chad would still take baseball over the Super Bowl. I think in this, I think. Am I right? Am I right?
Oh yeah, you're right. I listen. The World Series, in my mind, it trumps the Super Bowl. I get Super Bowl's huge. I get it. Um,
Wow.
what's not to love? The World Series could be 7 games, right? I listen. Give me a Super Bowl that's best of 7, and now we're talking, right? If we, like, could you imagine if that's how they ended the NFL season? You go through a
Seven
single elimination
games.
playoff system, and then you've got to win 4 games in the Super Bowl to win that. That's hilarious to me. No, that's not going to happen. But no,
Oh my
Super
gosh.
Bowl's huge, and I love football. I love college football. Sometimes I even say, I think, okay, so you know that I'm a Braves fan, right? So
Yes.
I love watching the Braves. Obviously, I love watching the Guardians. I'm here in Cleveland. I want the Guardians to win. I root for the Guardians. I love watching the rest of baseball, but I think I like watching the rest of college football more than I like watching the rest of baseball. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, college football probably trumps the rest of baseball for me. So I'm a little bit all over the place, but opening day is fun. Opening day is exciting. Uh, this I'm trying to think which is more exciting, that Labor Day weekend where you have all that's where college football really opens up. I think it's still baseball opening day though. It's always been. I mean, it literally makes me feel like I have butterflies in my stomach still. Right, I'm 46 years old and I still feel like a little kid. Like tomorrow's Christmas. But yeah, I mean it's baseball. I love baseball. I love college football, but man, they're close. They're so close, Eli. I don't know. It's tough to call.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, you know what? We got to get back to baseball here,
We do.
friends and fam, because Chad is gonna get frustrated if we don't. Okay, real quick, I'll give you some March Madness
I get
updates.
angry.
Like I said, Purdue over Texas, 2 seed over 11 seed, 79-77. Big Ten team advances there. 77 over 71. Iowa, number 9 seed over number 4 Nebraska. Another Big Ten team advances over a Big Ten team. And then at 10:05 and 10:06 p.m. we'll have 10:05 number 3 Illinois versus number 2 Houston. We'll see if we have another Big Ten team there. And number 4 Arkansas versus number 1 Arizona. So those are your other games today. Tomorrow, for anybody looking for some basketball while baseball's taking place as well. 7:10 you have number 5 C St. John's versus number 1 Duke. 7:35 number 4 Alabama versus number 1 Michigan. So another Big Ten team. 9:45 number 3 Michigan State versus number 2 UConn. Another Big Ten team there in Michigan State. And number 6 Tennessee versus number 2 Iowa State at 10:10. So that is the rest of your Sweet 16 matchup. A lot of basketball to be had. A national champion being crowned here in the next few weeks. But,
Yeah.
of course, we are here tonight for a very special baseball edition. And we got to get back to the Guardians. The Guardians are coming back. They're taking on the Mariners 10:10 p.m. We're going to talk about their chances against the American League, the rest of the American League, the Mariners included, and the National League. And can they bring home the first World Series since 1948? Oh, my goodness. Chad and I will talk about that. Before we do, we're going to hear from our friends at Dubby, a few of our other friends and sponsors, and we'll be back here on Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left, taking some deep breaths as he gets ready for the Guardian season to start. I'm Eli Moon, and this is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. We will be back right after this.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
And welcome back, everybody, to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. There he is. I'm Eli Moon, and this is Inside Edge Primetime on the Inside Edge Network. Of course, we have had a weather-filled day that has been crazy. We have made it through, though. It doesn't appear that we're going to lose anybody, Chad or I, during this crazy weather storm. We're going to get you squared away for Guardians opening pitch, 10:10 p.m. against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle, so 7:10 their time in Seattle out there on the West Coast. We're going to talk about that, and, of course, we're going to predict our World Series prediction before we get out of here. We're going to get some final thoughts out, and then we'll get you on your way, and we'll be back with you again. A reminder, Monday through Thursday next week, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., back at a regular time. Chad, this weekend we'll have some stuff going on with Saturday Illegal Formation with TK Dandridge and Sunday Sports Show with Ryan Mosser and TK Dandridge. I'll be producing Real Talk with Pop Moon on Saturday at 5 p.m. And then, obviously, main event, we'll keep an eye on that Sunday evening. So Chad will get you ready at 11 a.m. both days, Saturday and Sunday. And then I'll be in the afternoon and evening with you during the weekend. And speaking of Ryan Mosser, before we get into anything, of course, we have our guy Ryan Mosser. We're going to hear from our friend Ryan Mosser, Mosser Moments Photography, with him and his wife, Hallie. Real quick, let's hear from Mosser Moments.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
Of course, MosserMomentsPhotography.com. Ryan and Hallie Mosser doing a lot of great stuff with weddings and your special days. So just get some great photos done from our friend Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. So awesome. Great stuff. All right, Chad, let's get into it. We have about 10 minutes left here. We're going to get everybody situated. We want to get them out and ready to go so they have a few minutes to sit down for pregame, get their nachos and everything ready to go. Papa Moon and I are planning a late dinner. We're like, man, what do we make? Like some spaghetti or something? I don't know. Ooh, sounds good. So we're trying to get that figured out. We have the lineups for the Guardians. We have the lineup for the Guardians and Mariners game. Is that correct?
We do.
Okay, you want to go ahead and run those down for the people?
Yeah, let's first off the Guardians, right? It's our squad.
Yes.
So we know Stephen Kwan is going to be moving to center field. Not in this game. I had a feeling I didn't know how often this was going to happen, or if they were going to start him opening day on the road. I didn't really know. I think they'll try to ease him in. I know he played a few times in spring training, so maybe ease him in and maybe get him playing center field at home a couple of times, and then venture out on the road. By the way, Kwan playing center field, I feel is a bad omen. We'll talk about that on another show. But leading off for the Guardians, playing left field, Stephen Kwan. Batting second and right field is Chase the Water tonight. Jose Ramirez is going to be hitting in the 3-hole at third base. As usual, he's the stalwart. He's there. You can count on them. You always count on Jose Ramirez. Hitting cleanup is Kyle Manzardo. He's going to be DH tonight. So we talked about him. Possibly 30 home runs this year. I think he can do that. Hitting fifth. And this is where it gets murky. You've got Bo Naylor catching, right? We talked about some of the offense behind the plate. Not great. I think Bo Naylor can be a better hitter than he's shown, but whatever for tonight's hitting fifth and catching. Playing first base and hitting sixth will be Rhys Hoskins, the newly acquired right-handed power bat the Guardians just signed. Daniel Schneeman will be in center field tonight, hitting seventh. Gabriel Arias is at shortstop, hitting eighth. And Bryan Rocchio is going to be hitting ninth, playing second base. Of course, Tanner Bybee on the mound for the Guardians. And then for the Mariners tonight, Brendan Donovan will be playing third base, leading off. Cal Raleigh hitting second behind the plate. Julio Rodriguez will be hitting third, playing center field. Josh Naylor, we know him, playing first base, hitting fourth, hitting cleanup out there in Seattle. So Randy Rosarina is going to be playing left field, hitting fifth. Luke Raley's in right field. He'll hit sixth. Dominic Canzone is the DH. He'll hit seventh. Cole Young at second base. He'll be hitting eighth. And Leo Rivas will round it off. He'll do something.
Yeah.
He'll hit and he'll play shortstop. I don't know what the saying is. I can't find it right now, but he's going to be doing something. And then, of course, Logan Gilbert will be on the mound starting for the Mariners tonight. So there you go. There are your starters. There we go.
Exciting stuff. And I want, we're going to get some final thoughts here on the Guardians. We'll talk about them obviously throughout the entire year, but just some final thoughts on them, and then we'll pivot into our World Series prediction, and that'll be our final thoughts to get out of here. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Sounds great. So I'll talk about the Guardians here first for a moment. I'll give you a moment to breathe since you just went through both the lineups. But
I am very out of shape. I need a minute. Yeah, I need a second.
You're good, pal. I'm excited for the Guardian season. We've had a lot of talk this offseason, and even after the disappointing loss in the wild card round to the Detroit Tigers, and I've been one to be very vocal about why can't we get a World Series? Why can't we get there? With the lockout impending, with all this stuff, I'm just embracing the year. Could we get Bazana up here? We'll see. But I think it's going to be fun to enjoy watching DeLauder, Arias, watching the addition of Hoskins, watching this pitching staff we talked about with Bybee and Williams and Saccone. I mean, these guys Cantillo. I mean, these guys that are going to be interesting to watch play and pitch, and I'm excited and I'm embracing it. I don't think game 1 or game 2, 3, or 4 versus the Seattle Mariners dictates your season, but it sure does give you an idea of where you stand to start off. This is a team that was in the ALCS last year, so I'm excited to see how the Guardians look, how Bybee looks. Can he be the anchor, the ace of this team? Is it Gavin Williams or is it him? We'll find out kind of as this season moves along, and who's going to lead that charge. Hopefully both. Hey, we'll take both. But I'm excited to see how that looks.
Great, yeah, that would be great.
Exactly. And I'm excited to see how this looks, Chad. I think the Guardians are going to be in a great position heading into the AL Central, heading into the AL. I think they do compete very well against the AL and the NL. Now, do they get to the World Series? We'll find out in just a moment. Before I give my World Series prediction, what are you thinking about the Guardians here, pal?
Listen, I like the Guardians. I like the fact that, they've got the third best winning percentage in baseball over the last, I think, 10 years. Maybe more, but I think it's over 10 years. Yeah. Dodgers and Yankees. That's it. Right? So the Guardians compete better at a higher level with the lower, I guess we'll just say lower payroll, less resources than a lot of teams do. Okay. That's all well and good. The depth the depth scares me. The pitching depth scares me. The fact that you are relying on so many young bats and so many guys in a comeback type of a season on the offense, and so many guys that just really haven't done it yet. You're relying on all of them to figure it out at the same time. That's terrifying in baseball because that's not the way baseball typically works, right? Sometimes you do catch lightning in a bottle, but baseball's a funny sport. Baseball's a humbling sport, right? The fact that they've got the third best winning percentage over the last 10 years, despite this, despite that, despite whatever, that actually feels like it almost works, against them a little bit this year. I honestly, listen, I know no one's going to like this. We did the preview show, Eli. I don't think the Guardians make the postseason this year. I'm sorry. I don't want to be that guy. Listen, I don't know that. I don't think the Braves make the postseason either. So I'm not just down on the Guardians. I see myself having a disappointing baseball season before the lockout. I don't think the Braves or the Guardians are going to make the postseason this year, and it's disappointing because both of the teams are very talented for what they are. The Braves can't stay healthy at all, and the Guardians I just don't think have enough depth if anything happens. And the Guardians are in a unique situation with all the young guys. You've got to be willing to pull the plug on guys and move guys around very quickly, or you've got a situation where your season can get away from you because you don't have the resources, right? You don't have the money that the Dodgers have. You don't have the depth. You don't have the minor league depth. You don't have the major league depth that some of these other teams have. Though they do compete well, and though they do have a very nice starting pitching staff and a pretty good bullpen, so many questions up and down the lineup. And I mean, can Jose Ramirez continue to carry this team by himself? Because I mean, if Chase DeLauder's not healthy and Travis Bazana doesn't get up here and start, whatever, just doing what they hope that he'll do, and if Kyle Manzardo hasn't truly figured it out and hasn't turned the corner and isn't a 30, 35 home run a year kind of a guy, and Reese Hoskins doesn't hit, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of
I
questions.
know.
And right now there aren't a lot of answers. I hope we get those answers. I hope I'm completely wrong, and the Guardians win 95 games this year, surprise me, win the division, and go on and sweep through and win a World Series. That would be fantastic. That's just not my prediction. I'm sorry.
I get it. I get it. Well, we do have one other prediction to get to, pal, and we'll keep an eye on the Guardians. You got me a little somber there. A little
I hope
sad.
I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I sure hope so too. I sure hope so too. I think that you heard me. I predicted over 90 games, and I think they win. Winning over 90 games, and I think they win the Central, and I think they make a run. But I don't think they make the World Series.
Okay.
I don't think they make the World Series.
Okay.
Nobody's probably gonna be a fan of me here as a Cleveland guy here. But
I'm just
when
being
I say
honest.
this, when I say this, nobody's gonna be a fan of me when I say my World Series prediction is the New York Yankees versus the New York Mets. It's gonna be a Subway Series. Seeing the Mets absolutely get the Paul Skeens today, that offense, adding Bo Bichette, Francisco Lindor making an MVP run last year, making it late during a stretch to try to win the award. They have a lot of great bats. I know they lost Pete Alonso, but I just think they have a lot of pop in that offense, and they didn't lose too much pitching. And the Yankees look dangerous. I mean, they got the Logan Webb yesterday, another ace. We talked about both these offenses getting after it early. Yeah. Max Fried looked good on the mound. That bullpen just continues. I mean, the Yankees can spend money, the Mets can spend money, and it seems like we might get a New York versus New York battle. And I think this is the year Aaron Judge adds to his 3 MVPs this time with a World Series MVP, and I think the New York Yankees are winning the World Series this year.
I will possibly look to remove my eyes with a rusty spoon if that happens. Listen, 3 things you can count on in life, Eli.
Okay.
Death, that's one. Taxes, and the Metsing. Okay, no matter I'm fully convinced. No matter what the Mets do, they'll never have success again. I don't know what they did. I don't know if it was just pushing Bobby Bonilla's contract out all those years. I don't know what they did to the baseball gods, but they clearly did something to anger the baseball gods at some point, Eli. I don't think that I don't know. This could be for all the jokes aside, though. This could be the year the Mets actually do win the NL East, and the Phillies are very good too. That's why I say I don't think the Braves will make the playoffs at all. As far as my World Series prediction, I'm not going too far out on a limb here, but I'm going to say Dodgers Mariners. I mean, the Mariners are the team, man. They were so close in the AL last year, and Toronto just kind of snuck by. And then Toronto almost snuck by the Dodgers and almost won the World Series. They were that close to winning the World Series, literally that close to winning the World Series, and couldn't get it done. But for all that being said, I think the Mariners are just the more complete squad in the AL. So I think you're looking at Dodgers Mariners. And do I pick a winner?
Yeah, I think you should pick a winner. I picked Yankees, so that's why I have Yankees winning them.
Okay. I think the Dodgers get it again. I think the Dodgers win. They're too deep. Too many resources, too much ability to go out and get whatever they want. Even at the trade deadline, they can just offload guys and get new guys. They can just trade their above average guys for really good guys. It's wild. Like, they've got a wild situation. They've got so much depth out there. It's almost not fair. I wonder if that's why we're going to have a lockout on December 1st and talk about all this stuff. Who knows?
We'll see. Now, the only thing I'll say is if the Mets somehow beat the Dodgers, which I haven't predicted. I think this is the year they somehow do it. Maybe it's a different discussion a little bit. Well, the Mets spent money too, but they didn't spend as much as the Dodgers, so you don't have to spend as. Who knows? But Dodgers were down 2-0 when me and Pops put on the TV during the break. They are up 4-2 now. They hit a three run bomb. That. Yeah, just like that. So crazy. Yep. Chad, we are gonna let the people get after it, pal. I think we had a lot of final thoughts. We'll share a lot more thoughts next week, Monday through Thursday, Inside Edge Primetime. We're here with you, 10 to 11 p.m. We did a special edition here to get you ready. 10 p.m. is when the Guardians and Mariners will take place. Opening pitch, opening day for the Guardians. Opening night. 5 minutes. We got you ready for it. You heard the lineups from Chad. He did an eloquent job doing so. We thank all of you. If you just tuned in for the first time, make sure you follow us at Inside Edge Net. Make sure you follow and lock in for everything sports, entertainment, mental health conversations. We are Cleveland's digital leader, and we're your home and source for everything you need. So make sure you stay locked in here with us. We appreciate you so much. And for Chad Bryan to my right, your left, I'm Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Go Guards. We love you out there. To everybody out there, we appreciate the support so much. We'll be back with you this weekend, and Primetime back next week. So until then, that's Chad Bryan. I'm Eli Moon. Shoulder turn. We're out of here.
Shoulder turn.
Shoulder turn.